Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Girl Take Note. I am Shaunie, and today's episode is about something I think a lot of us can relate to, and that is redefining our success. You know, for so long, I followed a roadmap that wasn't really, I felt like mine. I thought I had to achieve certain things to be successful. But at some point, I realized that life was packed with things I should be doing, and I was losing sight of what I truly wanted. So today I want to walk you through my journey of breaking free from those societal expectations and crafting a life that actually aligns with who I am. So if you're someone who feels the weight of shoulds and the pressure to meet everyone else's definition of what success is, then this episode is definitely for you. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. This is Girl Take Note, a podcast for women who are looking to turn their dreams into reality. So let's start with the word should. You know, it's such a tiny word, but it carries so much weight. When you think about how often we say or hear things like, I should be more productive. I should be married by now. I should have a house, a higher paying job, more followers. The list just can go on and on. And for a long time, I felt like I was caught up in these shoulds. I thought success looked like a very specific checklist: climbing the corporate ladder, owning a certain kind of house, even wearing certain labels, or living a particular lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, if these things are truly what you want, then absolutely go for them. That's your definition of what success is. But for me, I wasn't even sure I really wanted all those things. I just thought that what it meant to be successful, I just thought that's what it meant to be successful. So I chased them like we all would do. You go to college, you find a good job, you get married, you have kids, you buy the home, all that stuff, right? But the problem was the more I tried to follow this blueprint, the more disconnected I think I felt. I I was achieving things. Like I had a really great job. I was making a great salary. I brought a home, got married, had kids, but didn't feel fulfilled. There was still something I think missing. And that's because I wasn't defining success for myself. I was letting what not everyone else so much, but what the world considered success, and I let it define it for me versus me trying to really hone in on what I thought was successful, what success looked like for me, because it looks so different, right? For all of us. And I want to do this episode, like I said, because what we think is success, I think we get caught up so much into looking at other people's success. We look at social media and we see what people are, how far people have come, how much money people are making from their businesses. This person is married, this person buying a car, this person is traveling. And we think that that's what success looks like, right? But success is truly defined differently for everyone. And that's what I think I want to stress with this episode. And so let's talk about what I call the success trap. It's the idea that in order to be happy and fulfilled, we have to meet certain external expectations. And this trap looks different for everyone, like I said. And maybe it's the pressure to get married, to start a family, to get a high paying job, or just to achieve certain milestones by a certain age. Because trust me, I know how that feels. I felt that way when I lost my job and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be 50. I don't have a job. I shouldn't be this way. The world is going to look at me differently. But one day I think I had a moment of clarity. And I was looking at my life, checking off these so-called achievements that I made, but I was exhausted. I was uninspired and feeling honestly kind of lost. And I asked myself a hard question. Who am I really doing all this for? Who am I really doing this for? And when I sat down with that question, I realized that so much of my effort, my time, and my energy had been directed towards things that weren't even meaningful to me. It was almost like I was on autopilot. I was working so hard to be seen as successful or wanting to be successful that I didn't stop to ask myself if I even cared about that version of success. Is that the version of success that I really wanted for my life? Because growing up in my time, in my generation, success was graduating from college, right? Like I said, finding a high paying job or either find a good job so you can buy a home, get married, have kids. That's what people could consider what success was, or either a certain type of role that you did, like a doctor or a lawyer, right? People considered those kind of things as, oh, you have a very successful career track. But then people think success is only, retiring from a job. And that might be successful for some people. And I don't ever want to get it confused that going the route of working for someone else, building a career, because that's what I did. I worked, I built my career, I got to the top of the ladder. And so that's what success was supposed to look like for me. But then I realized I wanted to redefine success on my own terms. So I started a journey and I took a step back and I thought about what would actually make me feel fulfilled. What would actually make me feel fulfilled? And I don't know if anyone has ever really asked himself that question, or maybe those who have, I would definitely want to know if you ask yourself that question. Let me know down in the comments. But not just busy or accomplished, right? And let me tell you that this was not a simple process. So if you're going to ask yourself that question, just get ready to know that it's not going to be a simple process. I had to unpack a lot of beliefs that I didn't realize I was holding on to. And one of the biggest breakthroughs came when I decided that my version of success would prioritize personal happiness and peace over material achievements. Because you can't buy happiness and peace. That's something you really have to work towards. And so now for me, I feel like success is like having the freedom to choose how I spend my days, surrounding myself with people who inspire me and uplift me, and having the space to grow in ways that's really meaningful to me. And it might not make sense to some people. And I'm going to tell you, when you get on this journey of redefining what success look like for you, because the world make us feel like you have to be at a certain stature or level to think that that's what you are. I know some people who work their 9 to 5, who got their home, their family, and their kids, and they believe that that's enough for them, that is success to them. Seeing their children happy, seeing their children being able to get the things they want and need, being able to provide for their family is success to them. And I respect them so much. And so that's why I say success looks differently for everybody. You need to figure out, how does it look for you? How do you define it for yourself? But I also had to realize that success didn't have to be this constant uphill climb. Success could just mean taking care of myself, even if that meant like slowing down or saying no to opportunities that really didn't align with my values. And that's okay, right? So redefining success gave me the courage to let go of the things that weren't right for me, even if they look good on paper. And I think that's the key right there. Some stuff might look really good on paper, and you might think that that's what success is, but that's not what it is. You truly have to do some real self-work to get into this mindset of what success is for you and how do you define it for yourself. Success might not mean having all the money in the world, right? Because people have money. We know this so easily. Well, people have a lot of money and they're still not happy, because in their eyes, something is missing from them. That's not what happiness look like. That's not what success look like for them. On the outside, from people like us looking in, we think that, oh, they're successful because they have the big house, the money, the cars, they're traveling, or so we believe. But for them, they may feel empty inside. And so being able to be fulfilled is something so different than the external material things that we think success looks like. So when I decided to live for myself instead for others, a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. There's a certain freedom that comes with when you let go of the need to impress or please other people. And one of my favorite saying is that I don't have nothing to prove, but everything to share. That's one of my favorite things I like to say. I have nothing to prove, but I have everything to share with you. But I'll be honest with you, it wasn't easy. Right? It took me time to shed that need for approval and to stop comparing my journey to everyone else's. And especially us as entrepreneurs, I think we get so caught up in looking at other people's journeys and thinking ours has to look the same way. I know some people who are looking for the blueprint, right? Some people are looking for the blueprint to success. What is that blueprint? How do we know that we're on the right track? How do I take that first step knowing it's going to be the right step? We don't know. There is no blueprint to success. But I think too many people are looking for one. We're trying to replicate what somebody else did, thinking that's how it's going to be for us. And then when you start doing what they did, and then you realize, okay, that's not working for me. Why isn't it working? It worked for them. They're so successful. It's because we have to We have to define success on our own. We have to create our own path for it. And we have to take the step forward. That's what we have to do. And I had to remind myself over and over again that my path is mine alone. It's not someone else's. It doesn't have to look like someone else's. And that's okay if it looks different from the path others are taking. I had to practice saying no to things that no longer align with my new vision of success. And sometimes that's me saying no to people's expectations of me, or even the opportunities that felt impressive, but weren't truly right for me. Right? Living for myself also meant that I started choosing experiences and goals that genuinely brought me joy, even if that didn't fit the typical success mold. And it's funny, once I let go of other people's expectations, you really do start to feel lighter and more motivated and even happier, honestly, because now you're living life truly on your own terms. You're not worrying about trying to improve for someone else. You're not worrying trying to impress someone else. I told you guys, when I lost my job and I lost that title that I had, I felt like I didn't know who I was. I didn't realize that so much of me was connected to a title that somebody gave me and ultimately took away from me. And so when I realized that, Shaunie, you really have to look at life differently. Success is not about a title, a career climb, right? For me, this is my own journey because it was taken from you. And so my mindset is now that I don't want to climb another corporate ladder for something to be taken from me again. And I don't want to identify myself by the job title. I don't want the job title to mean I'm successful now. I don't want those two to correlate with each other anymore. And so I had to find ways to kind of just redefine success on my own. And so now what I'm saying is that if you're feeling like you're ready to redefine success for yourself, then I'm going to give you a few things that really helped me. And I love asking myself questions and giving people these tips because I feel like we all need to do that inner work. In order to be successful, it's the inner work that happens. The last interview that I just did last week really talked about the inner workings of what we need to do to be successful entrepreneurs, the things we need to do to work on ourselves. And so one of the first tips I'm going to give you is to ask yourself what truly matters to you. This is such an important question. And I think sometimes we are afraid to actually give ourselves the answer, because if you give yourself the real answer, it's going to look different from what you're living right now. But ask yourself what truly matters to you. Take some time to write down your values and the things that genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. This will give you a clear idea of what success looked like for you and not everyone else. And like I said, it's going to shock you when you really write down what's truly successful for you. Some people might be, being married, having a family. That's success for me. And you know what? And that's okay. Because it's about what you want, not about what people expect of you, but what you expect of yourself. And so second, I want you to let go of the need for that external validation. This one can be very tough because sometimes people are living to impress other people. We're living to make sure we make other people proud of us, right? But start practicing tuning out all the noise. You don't need to explain your path or your choices to anyone. Remember, people who truly care about you will support you no matter what. And that's just it. Hands down, they will stand down for you. So it's okay. And three, I want you to set boundaries to protect your time and your energy. And I know boundaries is a huge piece of what our society talks about a lot because it's so important in our life to set those boundaries, especially when you want to protect your time and energy and when you're defining success for yourself. Now, once you know what matters to you, it becomes a lot easier to say no to things that don't align with your vision. Boundaries, I feel, are crucial for staying on your own path. That's what you do. When you have boundaries, that mean I'm picking me first, right? I'm protecting my peace, I'm protecting my time, and I'm staying on the path that I set out for myself. And honey, let me tell you something. People are not going to like it when you set those boundaries. They're not going to like it when you tell them, no, I can't do that. That doesn't align with what I want to do. That's not the path I'm on. that's not what I want to do anymore. I can't go and hang out at the club with you all night and wake up tomorrow morning with a headache. When I want to get up, I have a routine, I have business, I have this thing I'm pursuing. I'm trying to move up in the job or whatever it may be. I have goals that are different from what you believe they should be. So set those boundaries and don't waver on them at all. And 4, I want you to celebrate your wins. I talk about this so much. And I think I talk about celebrating our wins, even if they're small. It's because success doesn't have to be one grand achievement. It can be a series of little moments where you choose yourself, where you make progress in ways that are meaningful to you. So just celebrate those moments because they are important. Celebrate those moments. I keep talking about the small wins because not only do they help you define your own success, but they keep you motivated on your path to achieving success. When you start seeing the little things you're doing and actually moving the needle, that's when you start really getting motivated. It's like when you're working out and you're trying to lose weight, right? Y'all know I'm on the 75 hard, working out, trying to lose weight, trying to get my eating together. And when you start seeing the weight come off, it motivates you. Just by little weight, 2-3 pounds, you're like, I'm doing it. And that's what I mean by celebrate those little wins. When you celebrate those little wins, you start seeing little things check off your list and you start getting closer and closer to that big goal. It's going to motivate you in ways you've never imagined. Never imagined. So celebrate those wins, be okay with it, and set your boundaries. Success is never going to look the same for all of us. But the one thing, if I can't stress anything, is to stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop thinking your path has to look like theirs. Even with my podcast here, I see so many people are doing so great, right? So many big podcasters who have just been doing it a lot longer than me. But although I look at them and I say, wow, I want to be on that level one day, I don't compare myself to them because I'm running my own race and I'm taking my time with it and it's moving in a direction that's really great for me. And I celebrate the little things that do happen with this podcast when I feel like something is amazing. So redefining success has been one of the most empowering things I think I've done for myself. And I encourage you to do it because it has allowed me to create a life that feels right for me, not just one that looks good from the outside, because a lot of people live that kind of life. So if you're feeling the pressures of shoulds in your life, I encourage you to pause and ask yourself, who are you really doing it for? Who are you really trying to impress here? Who are you really trying to make sure look at you as you are successful? Because subconsciously, people don't realize that that's what they're doing. They have already compared themselves to somebody. And so they're comparing their life to, and they're trying to compete with that. So start getting curious about what you want, not what the world says you should want. And I think that's what's important. It's about what you want, not what the world says you should want. So guys, listen, I know this episode is quick and short, but it's because I felt the need to have this and keep it very concise, right? Make sure that we understand that success doesn't have to look the same for everybody. It can look different for all of us, no matter what that is. That can be my corporate girlies. That could be my entrepreneur girlies, whatever it looks like for you. That could be my stay-at-home girlies too, who feel like I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's what success looked like for me, being able to be home with my children, raise them, and being able to be there for them in ways that I never thought I could. That's success to them. And that's okay too. It's about what you want. It's not about the world believes success should be. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Course of Girl Take Note. I hope today's conversation inspire you to rethink success and start living a life that's truly yours. Because I want you to remember that your journey is unique and you have the power to define what success looks like for yourself. So don't worry about what somebody else thinks. Now, of course, if this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share it with someone who might need this message today. So until next time, take note and take care of yourself. I'll see you guys in the next episode.